Hello everyone. This is another exercise program. Have you got a pen ready? Let's go over the new language points from the last 3 units. You remember the scene at the hospital in Unit 24? Russell missed the bus. He'd planned to meet a friend.
I'd planned to go there this morning, but I missed the bus.
There were 2 actions in the past. One of them happened before the other. He planned to go there. That's action number 1. He missed the bus. That's action number 2. When you talk about the 2 past actions together in one sentence, you must use the past perfect for the first action. Now, you say in one sentence what I say in 2. Remember, one thing happened before the other. The bus left at 9:30. Action 1. I arrived at 9:40. Action 2. Say the same in one sentence. Use the word when, but leave out the 9:30 and 9:40. The bus had left when I arrived. Or, when I arrived, the bus had left. Now try again. He forgot his wallet. Action 1. He went home again. Action 2. Join the 2 sentences together. Use the word because this time. He went home again because he'd forgotten his wallet. Now watch Russell again.
Well, the bus leaves at 8:15, so I got up very early at 7 o'clock. But when I got to the bus stop, the bus had already left, and I realised my watch had stopped.
Next time, Russell will have to get up even earlier. Early, earlier. In Unit 25, we came across comparisons. An adjective can have 3 forms. A joke can be funny. We laugh at it. Another joke may be even funnier. We laugh more. If you hear several jokes, you'll probably like one of them more than all the others. This is the funniest joke. Funny, funnier, funniest. Look at this for a moment. Quick, quicker, quickest. Slow, slower, slowest. Happy, happier, happiest. Funny, funnier, funniest. It's easy to form comparisons like this. You add ER for the comparative, quick, quicker, schneller, and EST for the superlative, quickest, der die das schnellste. It's almost the same as in German, isn't it? But you'll remember from Unit 25 that with longer adjectives we use more and most. A story can be interesting. Another story may be more interesting. And if you read several stories, you'll decide that one of them is more interesting than all the others. It's the most interesting story of all. Interesting, more interesting, most interesting. Now, what's the English for ein interessanteres Buch? It's a more interesting book. More and most go with adjectives like interesting, comfortable, boring, complicated. If an adjective has only one syllable, like quick or slow, we use the endings er and est. Quick, quicker, quickest. Slow, slower, slowest. If an adjective has two syllables and ends in y, like happy or funny, we also use er and est. But don't forget to change the y to an I. Happy, happier, happiest. Funny, funnier, funniest. The adjective boring has got two syllables, but it doesn't end in y. So we use more and most. Boring, more boring, most boring. Adjectives with three or more syllables always take more and most. Now, look at these books. I like this book. It's quite interesting. I like this book very much. Now you compare this book with this book. It's more interesting than the other one. This book is not as interesting as this one. Than is the German als. As is the German wie. This book is my favorite. It's more interesting than all the others. Now you compare this book with all the others. This book is the most interesting of them all. Of course, this book was... Can you say it? The red book was more expensive than the yellow one. Or you could say... The yellow book was not as expensive as the red one. And another possibility, eine weitere Möglichkeit, the yellow book was cheaper than the red one. And this book? Can you say it? The blue book was the most expensive of them all. Listen again how to say the words than and as in a sentence. This record player was cheaper than our gramophone. Cheaper than. The record player was not as expensive as the gramophone. Not as expensive as. Now here's a tip for exams in English. A popular question is, find the opposite of more and most. His idea was more interesting than hers. The opposite of more is less. His idea was less interesting than hers. Humphrey's idea was the most interesting. The opposite of most is least. Humphrey's idea was the least interesting. This is more or less what you should remember about adjectives. In Unit 26, Jane and Russell went to Wales. But not everything went perfectly. Perfectly is the adverb from perfect. This is an excellent car. Ein ausgezeichnetes Auto. It runs excellently. Es fährt ausgezeichnet. The word excellent is an adjective, and excellently is an adverb. The adjective excellent describes the car. It tells us what kind of car it is, what it's like. The adverb excellently tells us how the car runs. It describes the verb to run. And to form adverbs, we simply add the ending ly to the adjective. Listen to an example from Unit 26.
But everything's in perfect working order. I can't see why it isn't working perfectly.
I'm sure you can do an adverb exercise easily. But be careful. Easy. It's an easy job to repair it. Easy is an adjective. It goes with the noun job. Let's do another one. Easily. I can repair it easily. In this sentence, you need the adverb easily. It goes with the verb to repair. Here we have the usual change of Y to I. Easy, easily. The exercise was easy. You did it easily. Happy, happily. Jane's happy. She's smiling happily. This isn't quite the whole story. I'm terribly sorry, but there's a bit more. I'm terribly sorry. Es tut mir schrecklich leid. She's extremely happy. Sie ist äußerst glücklich. An adverb can also go together with an adjective. This normally makes the adjective stronger. I'm terribly sorry or I'm awfully sorry is stronger than I'm sorry. She's extremely happy is stronger than just she's happy. Well, I'm sure you feel we've done enough grammar for the moment. Today's newspaper's come. Thank you, Humphrey. A letter to the editor in English. The editor, Coburger Nachrichten, 8630, Coburg, 14th of March. Dear Sir, I am writing to you to say thank you to the people of Coburg. My wife and our 7-year-old son, William, were travelling through Germany by car when they had a bad accident on the main road near Coburg. My wife broke both legs, but our son was not seriously hurt. A few minutes after the accident happened, the police and an ambulance arrived and took them to hospital. Hardly an hour later, I got a phone call from the police. They gave me all the details about the accident and told me not to worry. The police had also phoned a garage to take the car, a complete write-off, into Coburg. When I went to Germany a week later to collect my wife and son, everything was perfectly organized. After my son had spent 2 days in hospital, one of the doctors took him home to his family. My wife was much better by that time, and after another 3 days, I was able to fly back to London with her and our son. Thank you again, people of Coburg, for your extreme kindness and wonderful hospitality. You helped to make a difficult situation much easier. Yours sincerely, Anthony Snow, 13 Park Street, St Albans, AL4 6JN, England. Did you understand everything? Now I'll read the text again, and you can see it this time. Dear Sir, I am writing to you to say thank you to the people of Coburg. My wife and our 7-year-old son, William, were travelling through Germany by car when they had a bad accident on the main road near Coburg. My wife broke both legs, but our son was not seriously hurt. A few minutes after the accident happened, the police and an ambulance arrived and took them to hospital. Hardly an hour later, I got a phone call from the police. They gave me all the details about the accident and told me not to worry. The police had also phoned a garage to take the car, a complete write-off, into Coburg. When I went to Germany a week later to collect my wife and son, everything was perfectly organized. After my son had spent 2 days in hospital, one of the doctors took him home to his family. My wife was much better by that time, and after another 3 days, I was able to fly back to London with her and our son. Thank you again, people of Coburg, for your extreme kindness and wonderful hospitality. You helped to make a difficult situation much easier. Yours sincerely, Anthony Snow, 13 Park Street, St Albans, AL4 6JN, England. A nice man, Mr. Snow, isn't he? And it's a good thing the paper printed his letter for its readers. We can use it for our test now. So here are some questions. Section A. Just say which answer you think is right. Question 1. Mr. Snow wrote this letter A. When he arrived in Germany, B. When he got back to England, C. Before he left Germany. The answer's B. He wrote this letter when he got back to England. Question 2. The car is a complete write-off. Does that mean A. Nobody can repair it? B. You must drive very slowly? C. Only a garage can repair it? The answer's A. A complete write-off means that nobody can repair it. Question 3. Mrs. Snow was in hospital A. For 3 days, B. For 10 days, C. For a week. B is right. Mrs. Snow was in hospital for 10 days. Now answer these questions with a full sentence. 4. Where was Mr. Snow when the accident happened? He was in England. 5. How long after the accident did the police inform Mr. Snow? They informed him an hour after the accident. Of course, you can also say, they phoned him an hour later. Or, they phoned him 1 hour later. 6. Where were Mrs. Snow and William when Mr. Snow arrived from England? His wife was in hospital and his son was at a doctor's house. Or you could say, his son was staying with a doctor's family. Section B. Language. We know from Mr. Snow's letter that the police worked quickly. Quick is often a synonym of fast. Now complete the sentences. fast. The police worked fast. Fast is both an adjective and an adverb. Hard. The doctors worked hard. Hard is also an adjective and an adverb. Well. Things were well organized. The adverb of good is well. What's that? To work hard, schwer arbeiten. To drive fast, schnell fahren. To speak well, gut sprechen. Thank you, Humphrey. It's extremely kind of you to help us. Remember these three adverbs: hard, fast, well. Let's practice some opposites now. Sagen Sie also das Gegenteil. Mrs. Snow doesn't speak German well. In fact, she speaks it rather... What's the opposite of well here? Badly. In fact, she speaks it rather badly. After a few days in hospital, Mrs. Snow felt better. She didn't feel... What's the opposite of better? Worse. She didn't feel worse. Let's remember some irregular forms. Good, well. One student writes well. Better. Another student writes better. Best. And a third student writes best. And the opposite? Bad, badly. He speaks badly. Worse. He speaks even worse. Worst. He speaks worst of all. Section C. Translation. In a test like this, you may have to translate a short passage into German. It may be a new text or part of the text before you. You haven't got time now to write the translation down, so do it orally, mündlich. I'll give you enough time to speak. Look. When I went to Germany a week later, als ich eine Woche später nach Deutschland fuhr, to collect my wife and son, to collect can only mean abholen. Meine Frau und meinen Sohn abzuholen, everything was perfectly organized. War alles perfekt organisiert. Oder war alles bereits bestens geregelt. After my son had spent 2 days in hospital, nachdem mein Sohn 2 Tage im Krankenhaus verbracht hatte oder gelegen war, one of the doctors took him home to his family. Nahm ihn einer der Ärzte zu sich nach Hause. My wife was much better by that time. Meiner Frau ging es bis dahin schon viel besser. And after another 3 days, und nach weiteren 3 Tagen, I was able to fly back to London with her and our son. war ich imstande, konnte ich mit ihr und unserem Sohn nach London zurückfliegen. Perhaps we should do a little quiz before we finish this program of exercises. And did you notice? We're doing it all in English. Ah, a crossword. Why not? Now, what's one across? It says, a mountain in Britain. That couldn't be easier. 7 letters? That must be Snowdon. Now 2 down. It says, a country in Britain. Well, how many countries are there? England, Scotland, Wales. 5 letters? That can only be Wales. But what's 3 across? The people of Wales. Welsh. The people of Wales are the Welsh. All British newspapers have crosswords. The crosswords in the Times are perhaps the most difficult. I really must try this one. I'm terribly sorry. I'll have to say goodbye now. Thank you for working so hard. Goodbye.